I'm now going to start trying to bring more of the Arduino code into the new file. So we have this correct and incorrect, which correspond with our red and green, but we need our 2 light pins. I'm also going to bring the guess, since we're still going to have guesses, and this Boolean checked. I'm not bringing over right because this is giving us kind of a demo answer, and we're going to have a real answer that we can put in here. I'm also going to add a variable called qnum, which we had in our processing file, and I'm going to set that to 1. Our setup is good as is, and then we're going to have some changes to our loop. Each time we go through the loop, we're going to want to see if, similar to here, if it was checked. Every time it's checked, we want to increase the question number, or increment the question number. And then instead of value equal to A and value equal to B, we want to see if the value is equal to what we guessed. So if the value is equal to what we guessed, we want to turn the correct one on. If the value is not equal to what we guessed, then we want to turn the incorrect one on. Question mark equal sign is the same thing as saying not equals. At the end of this checked if statement, we're going to want to say return checked back to false. We still need this part here, and we want to put this in this else statement. So this else, or this if, is when it's reading data from processing. This else is when it's not. So we're going to put what our guess is in here. And we are going to send, since we're not getting from processing, we're sending to processing. We're going to serial print line the question number that we want. So this is why we needed question number in here. And instead of guess being 1 and 2, or 1 and 0, we're kind of going to have guess be B and A. Corresponding with light pin B and light pin A. This should be all we need for the Arduino file. Here we have both processing files. Here is the new one that we're making, and here is the one where we had the questions and the displayed text. So I'm going to start by just bringing some things over. I want all these variables. I'm going to change the size and add that text size in. In draw, I'm going to bring the background, the text align, and the question number function. And I'm going to go grab that question, that draw question function, and add it to the bottom. And then here in this serial event function is where we get into the communicating back and forth with processing and Arduino. In this if section, we're sending information to processing. If it's there, clear the buffer and send a request for data. So the first thing really that we want to write is the answer for the first question. In other words, this being the first question, the answer being B. So instead of contacting, I'm going to go into the questions array. The first question, or the first array, and then the third element, which is the A or the B. And then what I really want is the character that's in there. Right now it's a string, but what I want to communicate to processing or to Arduino is the character that's in there. So you can use this function char at, and then the first element in the string is 0. And since these are all one character strings, it's always going to be the A or the B. So this should be sending the character B over to Arduino. And I'm going to print this as well. Here in this else, we are again sending information. We've received the value here. So whatever Arduino is sending over is going to be put into this variable val, which will be trimmed of any white space. So the first thing I want to do in this else statement is to say to write the answer to the question number that we're on. So going back into the questions array, questions, and then the question number that we're on. And then again, that third element, which is going to be A or B. And again, we also want this char at function, because we just want to send a character. What we want to do is then wrap this in an if statement so it doesn't go past the questions that exist. So if qnum is less than questions.length, so the length of the questions array, then that's the only time we want to send over this information. Going to get rid of this, print whatever the val is, and then actually set question number to equal an integer version of val. Because right now val is what we're getting from Arduino, and it's sending us the question number. Get rid of this as well. And that should be what we need for processing. So we can now test it out. Now that we have our Arduino file and our processing file, I'm just going to make a couple quick changes. I'm going to comment out this myPort.write contacting line so it doesn't overwrite this write to the port. And in my Arduino, I'm going to change this guess into a character, because down here we are comparing this val, which is a character, which is why we changed it to a character here, and we're comparing it to guess. So I had guess as a boolean and it needs to be a character if it's going to go into either of these if statements. And in these if statements, I'm just going to change the LED time it's lighting up to 1 second instead. 3 seconds is a bit long to wait to answer the next question. And I'm going to upload this. And run this. And now putting my hands over the light sensors, moves to the next question. And the corresponding LED seems to be lighting up with each question. So that's the end of the tutorial. Hopefully everything works for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.